keep only one time, and we can utilize this many number of time. Okay, so function and procedure are same. The difference is what? Procedure cannot return a value, but function can return a value. Okay, so this is the difference. Now see here, I'm showing you by creating a function. Now see here how to create a function. First example is what? Create a function to print name of salary of employee as per ID. So any idea? So see here how to create a function. In this example, I'm writing, just see. Then I'll practice this in MySQL. For this, in MySQL, I need to change first the delimiter. Okay. So this is the way. First, I need to change the delimiter. The delimiter must be any symbol other than semicolon. So let I am putting here dollar. Okay. So delimiter is dollar. I change so that while executing, the end will be dollar mark. Then how to create a function? So you need to use the create keyword. Okay. So the keyword is create. So here I am writing, I'm maximizing it. I am directly moving to. Okay. Please remember the question. I am directly moving to the SQL prompt. There I'll write. Okay. So the question is to print name of salary of employee as per ID. It means what? If the function we are passing ID number of an employee, provided employee must be existing. Okay. So employee table is already there. I will pass the ID number to the employee. Okay. And the function will return me, because function can return. So the function can return the salary. Okay. Print salary of employee or name of employee. Let I am printing name of employee. Okay. So see here, this is a simple function. It's not salary, name and salary. The function can return only one. Okay. At a time. So one value. So create a function to print name of employee as per ID. So the input value will be ID and the output will be name. Okay. So how can I write? So after delimiter, so here what I will write? So the syntax for function is create. Okay. The keyword function, you can see here. It's very easy. And you need to give a name. You can give any name. Let the name is what? What is that? Print something like print name. Okay. This is the name. So now here what it will receive? This function should receive a parameter. So that parameter will be in parameter, because we are sending ID number. So that's why remember by default the parameter is in type. So no need to specify in keyword. Okay. So simply you can write ID, the data type, and the variable name. So let ID, instead of ID, I am writing EID. Okay. EID. Okay. And the data type of EID is integer. So this is the function definition. And what the function will return? So the function will return, okay, integer, name is a string means here var character. So this is the function definition. And what is the size of the name? Let I am giving here 10 or 20 also you can specify. Let it is 20. And then you need to specify whether it is deterministic or non-deterministic. Okay. By default it is deterministic. Okay. Remember it. Deterministic. Please write it correctly. What is deterministic? Please here you have studied finite automata. Deterministic means single goal. So if I am giving, let I am giving here input 1, then the name will be something like Asit. But if I change the input, let I am changing input to 2, then the name will be different. It means that for every possible input there must be different output. Then you can say it is deterministic. But if for every possible I am not giving any input, if I call each time this function, it will give different value. The same function, if I call print name without passing any value, it is not specific to any integer, then you can make it as non-deterministic. Because we are passing one value, as per that value, the function is returning the name. So that's why it should be deterministic. Once you write this, then you write the code. So begin. Okay, I'm beginning the function. Then what I'll write? So this will return. So what it will return? This will return the name. Okay, so where I'll keep the name? Okay, so that's why I'm creating a variable. Since this function can return a name, so that variable I am declaring here. So how to declare a variable in SQL or PLSQL? Okay, or in a function, the keyword will be declare. Okay, then what will write? The name of the variable. Okay, so let it is en or ename, anything you can write. Because it is employee name, I am writing ename. The data type is var character 20, because I have specified the return size must be 20. So that's why you give a semicolon. So this is I declared. Then what I'll write? What will I write? So I will write select. So this name I will get from employee. So select, what is the attribute name present in the employee table for name? It is name. I'll show you in MySQL. Okay, so select name. What I'm selecting the name I'll put this in variable. So there is a keyword into. Try to understand. So if I write select name into ename, so what is the meaning of this statement? The statement says the select name will not shown to the directly to the browser or directly to the SQL prompt. It will take this input or it will take this name, okay, from database or from table, employee table, and will keep in this variable, okay, ename. So that's the meaning. Select name into ename, and this name will come from which table? I'll write that. So this will come from employee. So simply I'm asking, if I write, let for example, select name from employee. So this name will come from employee, but it will not shown. It will put this name into ename variable. Okay, then it is a specific name. Where? Because it is not, there are many names. I don't want all the names. I want that name whose ID is matching with this EID. So that's why, okay, which ID value I passed here. Let I passed 1. So this 1 is stored in this in variable. Okay, so this will I'll match here. So what I'll write where? Okay, ID equal to, ID is the attribute of employee table. ID equal to some value, I'll write 1 2 3 like that. But here that 1 2 3 what I am passing, that is kept in this EID. So that's why I can write here ID equal to EID. What is the meaning of this statement? This statement will fetch, okay, and will bring name from employee table where ID equal to what value we are passing, EID, and that will be kept inside this ename. Then finally you need to return this name. Okay, so that's why you need to write return ename, because our variable is, so this is all about function. Once it is ended, okay, the function, what is that block you need to end. So how to end the block? End. So likewise here begin is there, so I am ending here. Then finally you end the procedure. Okay, how to end the procedure? You put this delimiter symbol. So this is all about a function that will print the name of the employee as per the ID. Okay, so if I pass ID any value, if that value, that ID is present in the table, then what is the name of that corresponding ID? So this is a function. So I am creating this thing completely in MySQL prompt. Okay, so another two also I'll discuss. So now see here, I'm copying this, I'm moving to MySQL prompt. Okay, see here. So now see here where, okay, root. Okay, I'm using the database for CSE 11. Okay, so now see here, use, okay, the database is for CSE experiment 11. Okay, not it is experiment 11 DB, experiment 11 DB. So if I use this, I can see whether the employee table is present or not. So if I write show tables, you can see here, there will find employee table. Okay, so there is a employee table is present, you can see here. Okay, so I'm here, I'm changing the case. Okay, so now if I select, first check what are the data or available attribute present. Select star from employee. Okay, so if I write this, you can see here, there are ID is present and name is present. So if I pass 1 to the function will return John. If I pass 2 to the function will return Mary. If I pass 3 to the function, this function will return Bob. So likewise, you can see here. Now I'm creating this function. The same thing I'm writing again here, what I wrote. So delimiter here, the same thing I'm repeating. Those who attend the what is late, you can see here. So delimiter, you change the delimiter to dollar or any symbol. Okay, then I'm writing the same code what I wrote. Okay, delimiter dollar. Then create the function keyword function. The same question will ask. Be careful and listen. I'll share the recording. Okay, create function. The name of the function is, what is the name of the function? Okay, print name or something, display name, anything you can write. So it is up to you, user defined function, and it is receiving what? ID as in parameter. I have given the name as EID. Okay, and no need to specify in, because by default function as in parameter. Function can receive only in parameter. Okay, though function can return a value. Okay, out parameter is not necessary here. In procedure we need in and out parameter, you can see. So that's why by default or in every parameter is in type. So EID. Next, what is the data type? It is integer. Okay, just now I told. Then what will write? What it will return? So returns. Okay, then var character, data type. What is the size? 20. Then you can write that is deterministic. One value for every ID, one name for every different ID. Deterministic. So DETR, mini stick. Any spelling wrong means it will not show you the function will not be created. So deter mini stick, remember it is not deter min stick. I be careful while giving DETRMINIS. This is optional, you may or may not write, but always write better. The performance of this function will be better. Then what will start? I'll write begin. Okay, once I write begin, I'll declare a variable that will return the value of the name. So declare name, so that is e name. Okay, and the data type of e name is var character 20. You can write with me. Then what will write? Then the select statement, because the name will come from employee. So select, okay, name into. So you need to keep that name in e name because you have declared that. And so how this e name will get this value? This e name will get this value from name, into name, from the table employee. Okay, then where? Because there are many names, you can see 6 names. I don't want these 6 names, I want as per this id. So that's why I'll write where id equal to which id I'm passing here. It is eid. Okay, so eid, because I wrote here small to distinguish, I'm writing eid, but you can write in caps also, it will be better to understand. Okay, so here you can see it is small, so means in same eid I'm assigning to id. Okay, so now here what the id value, okay, what the name will be fetched, that will be kept in this e name. Then I'll return this one, return this e name to the calling function. Okay, then I'm ending the function, then I'm ending the function. Okay, how to end the function? The delimiter. So this is the dollar. Once if it is correct, if anything will be mistake, then it will show error, otherwise it will show function created. You can see what is it is showing query, okay, 0 rows up. So function is created. So now here, once this function is created, I can call this function, or anyone can call this function. Please remember how to call this function. How to call this function? Okay, while calling this function print name, you need to pass eid. So there is a keyword like procedure, you can call using the keyword call, but function you cannot call using the keyword cll. You can call a function by using select. So that's why I'm writing select, simply select. The name of the function is print name. Okay, but I need to pass a variable. Okay, sorry, a value. Which value I'm passing? Let 1. Only simply write select. Usually it is written because select always ended with a table from dual, but don't, if it is not written, then it's also okay. Usually this is the statement, but if you don't write this from dual, this will also work, remember it. Okay, so you simply write select print name of 1, then what it will return? Here this will return what? This will return the name of id 1. So what is the name of id 1? You can see here John. So if I write simply select print, it means the select is calling the function print name, and print name is returning as per the name of 1. The name of 1 is what? John. So now here I'm entering. So what it is returning? Okay, why it is not closing? Because the delimiter is what? Dollar. So that's why don't give semicolon. So here what it is returning? So print name of 1, I call this function and it is returning John. So that's why always once function is written, you change the delimiter. So I'm changing the delimiter to again semicolon. They again I'm calling the function select print names here. Select print name of 1. What it will return? It will return here. The name is John. But it is not showing name. It is showing the function as the attribute name. So you can rename it. So how can I rename? I can rename it by giving it as, or simply I change this to name. Okay, by double quotation. So what it will give? The name of 1 will be here. Name is John. Similarly, one time it is written, if I pass 2, it will give some different name. What it is showing? Mary. It means what? The name of employee whose ID is 2, the name is Mary. Similarly, if I pass 3, what it will return? It will return the name of 3. So it is showing returning Bob. Similarly, if I pass 4, simply I'm changing the parameters here. If I change 4, so it is giving Tom as per this table. Okay, 6. But if I pass 7, 7 is not available. So what it will show? Definitely it will show some errors here because 7 is not available. What it is showing? It is showing nothing. Okay, no error because for 7 there is no name. So that's why it is showing null. Understanding? So this is all about function. Now here the same thing I can modify with procedure. If someone will ask, you do the same thing with procedure. Okay, now I'll share the recording. Okay, the same thing you do in a procedure. What is the difference in procedure and function? In function we are adding this clause, return clause, and we are also adding this return the variable name. But in procedure, if I change this function to procedure, please remember this this return statement will not be there. Okay, now see here. Now see another question on this print name. If I directly instead of 7, if I directly pass the ID, so what it will return? See here, I'm passing the ID. Okay, select print name of ID, and this will from employee. See here, from what is the meaning of this? The meaning is what? Not only I'm sending one to, I'm not sending here one value, I'm sending all ID value that are present in employee. So how many name will return? This will return all ID along with what? Names. Okay, so 1 to 6 as well as 6 names. You can see here, because I take instead of 1 2 3 4 5 6, I'm passing here, I'm passing what is that? ID, the direct, the attribute name from employee. So how many name it will return? It will name all, it will return all 6 names. Okay, so it means this print name will be called 6 times because ID has 6 values. So that's why you can see here what it is returning, all name. You can include in the select statement not only print name ID, you can include the corresponding ID also. If I write ID comma, so it means select ID from employee means how many IDs? 6 IDs. Then this print name is receiving how many IDs? 6 IDs individually. Okay, at a time one, at a time one, and this will be 6 times. So it will return ID, all 6 ID as well as the name. Okay, so print name of ID is nothing but name. So this function will return ID, 6 ID and 6 name. You can see here. Okay, so in this way you can call a function, you can include a function in a select statement also, including the, what is that? The existing table, including default table. What is the default table? Whenever we are not adding any table, so this will be automatically what? Dual. You can see here the default table. Instead of employee, if I write dual, from dual, so dual only one row present. Okay, so there are not many rows. You can write it dual. I told this thing in class. So whenever you are changing this to employee to dual, don't pass variable. You pass only value. Okay, so here dual is the default. So what it will give? It will give one unknown column ID. ID is not present in the dual table. Okay, so that's why you simply remember, write print name of one from dual. So what it is giving? Okay, so remember dual is a table that contains only one column and one row. So whenever I'm making it to ID, so it is becoming 2 column. Dual has no 2 column, it has only 1 column. Okay, but if you are mixing this function with any other attribute, you need to specify the corresponding table name. So this is about function. The same thing I am modifying with procedure. Okay, a procedure to return name. A procedure, usually a procedure will not return name, but I want to print using procedure. So how it will be possible? So there you will include the out parameter. Okay, so function equivalent to procedure with out parameter, because procedure cannot return a value. So that's why by including out parameter in procedure, we can out a value, or we can get the return value. You can see here the same thing. Okay, in practice we are doing, I am replacing the function, above function in procedure. How to write? Create procedure. You can see here procedure. So print. I already wrote print, so that's why I'm giving the name as display name. So display name. And here, because this procedure can receive in and out parameter, you need to specify the first parameter is in parameter. In, and we are passing EID, and the data type is integer, and no need to write anything. Okay, begin. So this is a procedure. Here very easy. Begin. Then what will write? Okay, sorry, I made a mistake. I need to close this one. Okay, here what will write? I need to include sorry, delimiter. I need to change the delimiter. Okay, delimiter dollar. Once I change the delimiter to dollar, then I can create the procedure. Create procedure. You can see the same thing I'm replacing by procedure. Display name, and it will receive one in parameter in EID. Okay, and integer, and another one through which it will return. The name will be return, because return statement is not there, so I can include an out parameter here. Out. Okay, the data type is, sorry, variable name is ename. Okay, and the data type is var character of 20. The same thing I replaced. Okay, then begin. So I'm beginning the procedure. See here how it is replaced. Then only by including this out parameter. Then the same statement you write select. Okay, then what will write? Name into, okay, this ename from employee. The same thing I'm writing, where ID equal to EID. Okay, then end statement, then close the procedure. The procedure is created. You can see here. Now the above function is created. Now a procedure is created. But how to call a procedure? A procedure can be called by using call. Okay, Then what is the name of the procedure? Display name. And what will pass out of these two parameter? Here you need to pass two argument, but two argument, one is in, one is out. So in is always a value because it's a value that will go, but out is not a value, because if I pass a value, then what is the meaning of this out parameter? Here in is receiver. In means we are giving the value. Out means we are receiving a value. Since we are receiving a value, so we need to declare a variable. Okay, so the out parameter, while calling the procedure, we need to share the out parameter as variable. So how to declare a variable here? So remember, the variable must be declared using @ symbol, @ Please remember, this is a variable. And here, since it is returning ename, so you can hold this by using any variable. Let it is n. So what is n here? N is a variable that is holding the value returned from the procedure. Okay, return from the out parameter. So this will be, so here out parameter is name. So what is the value present in ename, that will be assigned to name. So in this way you can pass out parameter while calling a function. Okay, now what is the delimiter? I have not changed, so that's why I'm putting the delimiter same $. Okay, or I can change first the delimiter. Let, so delimiter again I am changing this to semicolon. Then I'm calling the procedure, call the name of the procedure is display name. Display name, I'm sending the value. The in value will be a value, in parameter will be a value, the out will be a variable. So variable you can mention by writing in @ statement, and you can include any variable name. Let it is n, a, b, c, d, anything. So what is n here? What is 1 here? What is the difference? 1 is a value and it is going to EID. N is a variable that is receiving ename. This is just completely opposite. 1 is assigning to EID. Ename is assigning to n. Okay, so that's why here 1 is a value, n is a variable. 1 can, okay, transferred, n can receive. Okay, so here EID is receiving and ename is transferring the value. So now say what it will, if I call display name 1 n, so all the value for 1. So for 1, what is the name of 1? The name of 1 is John. So now John is storing in this ename, and this John is transferring to n. So in a local variable will be created there, the John will be there. Now I call the procedure, you can see here how to get that value, query affected. I want to print this n. So simply I write select. Okay, this is stored in a local variable. I can write select ampersand, sorry, yes, @ n. So what it will give? This will give me what? The ename. So yeah, what it is giving now, n is John, because I passed 1. So the name of 1 is John. So John is stored in ename. Now that John is, while calling this procedure, this John is transferred to n. Then I selected that n. Then I got John. Similarly, if I call this procedure by sending 2, okay. So the 2 for 2, here EID will be 2. Then what will be the ename for 2? Ename for 2 will be Mary. So Mary will be stored in this ename. Again, while calling this procedure, this Mary will transfer to this n. Okay. So now I'm executing this. Again, I'm selecting n. So it will show Mary. You can see. Similarly, if I call the procedure by using 3, the in parameter is 3. It means I'm sending 3. I'm asking what is the name of the name, what is the ename, or what is the employee name for the ID 3. So that will be stored in this ename. Okay. So ename for 3 will be what? Bob. So that Bob will be stored first in this ename. Then this ename will be returned to this here n. And if I execute that one, you can see here it will show me Bob. Okay. So this is about the difference between function and procedure. Okay. In function I can include a return statement, but in procedure I cannot include any return statement, provided that work can be done by adding a out parameter in procedure. So that's the difference. Okay. Next is what? Same thing I can repeat this question we will ask. Okay. Next is what? Another, I'm moving to Word document. If I ask the same thing to you, the second function you can create and replace this by procedure. You can see this question. Okay, what is the question? You can see the question is create a function to print salary of employee whose name is Bob. So how can I write? Here it is asking salary. It is specified the name. It means you need to pass Bob on, or because the name is mentioned here, no need to pass Bob. Okay. In that query you directly write Bob. So here I can simply modifying the first one. Okay, I'm copying his, you can change here, copy. Now for this second function, what will write? The same thing, completely same thing. Okay, only change the query, Control B. Now here delimiter $, because it is asking whose name is Bob. It is not whose name is any name. So that's why since name, it is asked what the name is Bob, the in parameter can be name, okay, one way. Or since it is specific that name is Bob, no need to pass any in parameter, because you can mention here name is Bob. So directly I can write name equal to Bob. Okay, so this is given. Since I am including name equal to Bob, so no need to send any Bob to here. So there is no parameter, and this should be non-deterministic. Okay, so whenever you are not sending anything, you make it non-deterministic. Okay, and what it will return? It will return the salary. So since salary is of which type? Salary is of integer type or double type, you can add here. I'll see what is the salary. Salary data type is, the data type of salary is, you can see the data type of salary is, if I describe employee, I'll know what is the data type of salary. Wait, I'm checking. Describe employee. So the data type of salary is double. Okay, the data type of salary is double. So that's why the return value will be double. Okay, the data type of salaries, so return value will be double. Okay, then so see, same thing. So now this will be salary. Okay, so e salary. Okay, a temporary variable name, and the data type will be double. Okay, just see what I am writing, because it will return double. Then select name, no, select salary. Okay, I'll select salary from employee table, and that will be inputted to the variable e salary. Okay, then from employee, where name equal to Bob. Okay, since there is no any name, it is specified Bob. If it is asked whose name, as per the name, then you need to pass a in parameter. Okay, and once a parameter is there, you need to make it what is that, deterministic. Okay, I can do that also. Let I am changing whose name is any, whose name is any name, whose name is any name as per the name. So that time you need to pass here the in parameter. So the in parameter will be name, and the data type will be, let it is e name, e name, and the data type is var character of let 20. Okay, and what I'll include here, so instead of Bob, I'll write what e name. Okay, then and I'll make this as deterministic. I'll make this as deterministic. Okay, select salary into e salary from employee where name equal to again. Okay, because it should return. Be careful while writing. Okay, so delimiter, delimiter, then create function. Now here, now it is writing e salary. Now I'm selecting. Okay, first I'm changing the delimiter. It will work, don't worry. It is only typographical mistake. Delimiter semicolon. I'm calling select. Okay, print. The name of the function I modified to salary double y. You can see here, it is double y. Okay, print salary. Now I'm passing as Bob. Okay, so see here. So this is giving the salary of Bob. Be careful while writing. Okay, so I can change the as name. I can change as salary. Okay, so it will be rename. Okay, so instead of print salary, the function attribute name, so it will come as salary. So what is the salary of Bob? It is nothing but 80,000. Similarly, if I change to Tom, then it will give me salary of Tom as 50,000. So in this way, similarly, you can replace this function by procedure. Okay, so likewise, you practice the third is very easy. The function part will ask is this type of query only. Okay, one thing you pass something. Let I am passing another question I also created. This is up to you. Please do this thing. Okay, so sir, what is the third question? Create a function to print the next hike of employee as per ID, number and current salary. Okay, for example, let salary is exceeding 50,000, then hike will be 20%. If salary is in between 40 to 50%, then the hike will be 10%. If salary is less than 40,000, then hike will be at 5%. So in that case, you write a function, but that function in that begin end, you need to write many if else statement, 3 if else statement. Greater than the same C statement, you will work. Okay, if salary is greater than something, you first fetch, then write the query. Okay, so this is a complex query, you try, but remember we will ask usually these easy questions. Okay, and the third question for function that is present in experiment 11, that is easy, last class I discussed. Okay, so this is all about experiment 11. Then I am moving to experiment 12, trigger. Create a function. Okay, you start right, create a function, and later you can practice. Create a function that will give sum of salary. Okay, that will give total number of present, total number of employees present, to give total salary present, sum of salary, better right, sum of salary for all employees, very easy, for all employees. How can I create? Tell me, I am writing. Who will tell? First, what will write?
Create function sum salary.
First, change the delimiter. Delimiter.
Create
yes,
function sum salary.
First, change the delimiter.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then, create function. Create function. Then, any name.
Sum salary.
Yes,
Sum salary. Then, what it will receive? It will not receive
Nothing.
any
Empty.
Empty. Then,
Yes, sir.
what it will return?
Salary, sum.
Sum of salary.
Anyway, no, data type you need to mention. What is the data type? Double.
Int, I
Double.
think.
Double.
Okay. Then
Double.
make it deterministic, single value. For every time you will call, it will give different and non-determined. Because once you include more employees, then the value will be changed. But so it depends. Okay. So that's why remember, if I call the five members are calling, it will give same value only. So that's why make it deterministic. But usually, so this is a non-deterministic case. In real problem in law, okay, it's a guess only. So you can see here, okay, something. If you have two options, one student have added 2 courses, that time we'll make it non-deterministic. Okay. So for example, let ID what I want. There is a if else clause. There is a if else clause, and there is a condition also. What is the condition? Let what I am entering the ID number, and I am including certain condition. Let the condition is what? The CGPA is greater than 7.5. If CGPA is greater than 7.5 for a student, I don't know that because I am passing only the ID number. I am passing only ID number. I'll check whether that ID number CGPA is greater than 7.5. If it is greater than 7.5, then he is enrolling to a particular course. Okay, or he is selected in campus, or he joined in a new course for something. But if CGPA is less than 7.5, then you will not able to join that course, other course will join. So in that case here, for same ID number, as per the condition present in the begin and end clause, okay, so that can return the first course or the second course. Okay, so that's in that case it has two what is that goal. Okay, so let there is a state. The state through a symbol can reach to different state. Okay, how it will be possible? How it will be possible? Remember, it depends on in that intermediate action. Okay, so in the intermediate, in begin and end, even here I am not including any if else clause. So that's why usually it is deterministic, because every time we'll call, it will return a fixed salary. Okay, so if the record is modified, but still remember, for every 10 times I'm calling, each 10 times it will give the same value until unless there is no if else clause. Okay, so that's why make it deterministic. Okay, then you start begin. Then what will write? So you need to
Declare sum salary double.
Declare, okay, sum salary double. Okay, then what will add? You will select
Semicolon.
Select
Sum bracket salary.
Yes, sum of salary into. You need to
into sum salary.
Into sum salary. This is a variable.
From employee.
That is enough.
Employee.
Okay. Then what will do? End.
Return sum salary.
Yes, return. That is important. Return sum salary. Okay. Then after that, you will end the procedure. Okay. Sorry, end the function. Done. This is all about. Can I copy this thing? Can I copy and execute?
Sir, you did not write end, sir. END.
Okay. Sir, end.
Before to that, begin end must be there. Okay, sorry. So end must be there. Next. So here I'm copying now. Okay. So I'm copying here all until this delimiter $. So I'm copying this. I'm copying. Okay. Delimiter $. So I'm copying this. I'm moving to MySQL from here, whether it's working or not. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
What I wrote? Why it is showing some error?
Yes, sir.
Because of some spelling mistake. What it is showing? Select sum of salary into. I wrote INTP. Okay, so be careful. That is a mistake. Okay, so that's why again I'm changing that one. Huh? It's INTO. So only remember, usually you will face this problem, typographical mistake. Okay, so again I'm copying this. Copy. Okay. So now here. Okay. Now is it working?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Working. Now how can I call this function? Select. So before
Select
that, no.
some
Please,
salary.
please no. Change the delimiter. Okay. Change the delimiter. Then what will do? Select.
Select some salary.
Select some salary. The function name. Select some salary. Okay. I will not pass anything. You simply write this thing only. Okay. Sum of salary. Enough. Semicolon. Or from dual you can include also. Okay. So now what it will give, and give a name also. Give a name as total salary. Total salary. Okay. So this is all about function. What it is showing? It is showing 3,70,000, because there are how many employees you can see in the employee table? In the employee table, these are the employees present. Okay, if you sum it, 1 lakh plus 50,000 plus 80,000, again 50,000 plus 90,000, then this will give me the salary. Okay, 3,70,000. Done. So okay, so now I am moving to trigger part, the last experiment. Okay, the last experiment. Okay, I am again selecting trigger. Directly I am executing. You show the document. What is trigger? So here, what is trigger? 12. This is the last experiment. So to monitor a database, and take a corrective action when a condition occurs. Okay, what is that condition? See here. I want, listen to me. I want, before deleting a record. Okay, I don't know. There are thousands of data are present. Okay, thousands of records are present. At any time, anyone can delete a record. There is no admin privileges for insert, update, and delete. But admin create what? Something, some action the admin has added. If a record is deleted, that will move to another temporary table, and that will keep for something for 1 month. That is called for recovery purposes. Okay, or you can say that is called recycle bin. What is happening? See here, in that trigger case, okay, I'm muting all because some sounds are coming. Okay, now see here, in the trigger case, if something is deleted, who is keeping the record? Those are deleted for temporary purposes. In Windows operating system, I have deleted one icon, I have deleted a file, okay, and that file is automatically transferring to recycle bin. How it is possible? Okay, I am not writing any code. Okay, before deleting, I am not copying, I am not doing what is that manual operation. I am not transferring this to the recycle bin. I am not doing anything. Simply I deleted, but if I check in the recycle bin, it is present. But the same things here, I want to delete, I want to transfer this to C or any D drive. It is not possible. I don't go to recycle bin. I am deleting from desktop. Before deleting, let a copy should transfer to D drive. Is it possible? It is not possible, because I have not written the trigger. I don't know how to. This is called action. Okay, that is automatically fired. Okay, something. Another example I am giving. I fixed a time. Your class will start 2 o'clock. Okay, so then a mail is coming to me. How the mail is coming? Okay, how the mail is coming? Just before 2 minutes, a mail is coming to my desktop that your class will start. Please join. How it is coming? So these are called some actions that will automatically, obviously written by someone. Okay, the user will take the benefit. Okay, for better chances. Okay, for better protection, like that. Okay, let you are in a national highway. You are what is that? Riding your vehicle in 80-90 kilometers. Okay, so nowadays what happens in if you buy some costly vehicle or something costly, your 4-wheeler, then they will warn you. Okay, so if you're what is that? driving speed is crossing, let's something 100 kilometer per hour, then a bell will ring, okay, or something alarm, okay, will alert you, okay, that, or something beep sound will come, so that you will get alerted, yes, it is crossing the limit. How it is? These are called trigger. These are the, these are called events. That is, what is that? Making alert, that is making you alert, or some what is that, recovery purposes also we are utilizing, okay. So the same example here, let I want now here, previously we have created this employee table and a department table, and also a temporary table, it's called department salary. Try to understand. Now this department salary is keeping the total salary of different employees working in different department, okay. So now here in this existing table, there are 5 IDs, there are 5 employees, there are 5 salary also, but these 5 employees are working in 3 different department numbers. So what is the salary of this department number? If I ask 1, let the department number 1, I'm giving department number 1, you find the salary distributed to different employee present in this department number 1. So how many salary you can see here? Under this department 1, there are how many salary? 2 salaries. So total salary will be 1 lakh plus null will be 1 lakh. So that one we are keeping. So as per there are 3 department numbers, so that's why we are keeping 3 different salaries. It is not as per the number of employees, it's for the as per the number of department, and these salaries are coming from different employees working in that same department, okay. Now my question is, what I am adding another extra employee here, okay. Let the employee number is 6, okay, and the employee name is any XYZ, let, and I am adding one salary, let it is 2 lakhs, okay. Then if I ask what is the salary now under this department 1, so it will not be 1 lakh again, because I have added one record 1 with ID number 6, and I have added a salary 2 lakhs for that employee. Then it will be, then if I face this department salary, it should not show me 1 lakh, it should show me 3 lakh. Why? Because of the 2 lakh salary I have added for 6 employees. But for that reason, I need to change this department salary function also. One procedure we have written for this department, calculation of the salary for this department salary. How this 1 lakh and 50,000 and 1 lakh 30,000 came? This came by running a procedure. What is that procedure? Okay, what is that procedure? The procedure say calculate salary or something we did. Okay, so that procedure calculated the salary from different employees and kept in this department salary table. But I don't want to call that procedure again. Each time I don't want to call that procedure. Once, okay, each time I'm adding a new table. Or each time I'm adding a new employee. Similarly, if I delete this employee, let for example, this employee, let how many employees are working under 3? Let 2 employees are working. What is the sole total salary? It is 50,000 and 80,000 will be it's 1 lakh 30,000. Let I deleted this employee, Bob. If I deleted, then automatically it should affect here. How it will be affect? So it will not affect until unless I am not writing a procedure. So each time here for this, for adding, for modifying, for updating the table, this department table salary, we need to create a procedure, and we need to call that procedure each time. This is the problem. I added a procedure. You update the salary in this department salary as per the number of employees are present in this employee table. If I am deleting an employee, then the salary should be decreased. If I am adding one employee, the salary should be increased automatically. Then what will do? I don't want to call the procedure. Then I'll write a trigger there. What the trigger will do? Once you delete a record from here, then automatically that trigger will fire. Likewise, automatically something you are deleting from desktop, that is going to the recycle bin. The same thing here. If I delete some employee here, then this should affect. It will decrease. Similarly, if I add one employee here, extra employee, then this should also update it automatically. It will 1 lakh to 3 lakhs. It will be changed as per the salary of that new employee. Similarly, if I update, let now the current salary of John is 1 lakh. I am modifying this to, I am only modifying the employee table. I am not modifying, because you don't have the rights to modify recycle bin. You don't have the rights to modify department salary, because the temporary table you have created. You can modify employee table. Let I am modifying the salary of John to 1 lakh 50,000 instead of 1 lakh. Then automatically extra 50,000 will be added here, the total salary in this department salary. Okay, understanding? So this is a trigger. So we'll create a trigger for the employee table. Okay, and that trigger will be fire whenever you insert a new record, whenever you update a new record. sorry, update the existing record. Whenever you delete the existing record, the salary will be affected up to the corresponding table. Which table? Department salary table. Okay, so that's why we are writing the trigger. So trigger is are the event. Triggers are nothing but the procedure function that involve action and fire, executed or automatically. That is the difference. Usually the procedure and function we need to call explicitly. Here the last example, we created a function, then we call that function. If you don't call the function will not work. We created the procedure, we need to call that procedure, okay, then only it will work. In this case here, to get that salary of different department, we need to call the procedure, then only the salary will be affected, otherwise not. But what about trigger? We don't need to call that one, it will implicitly call. I am adding a record in employee, then the salary will be updated in the second table, okay, department salary. I am removing a record from the employee, then salary will be updated in the department salary. I am updating the existing salary, then the salary will be automatically without calling that procedure or function. If a procedure and function is not getting called and still it is affecting, then this procedure and function will be called as trigger. Okay, so you can see this is the syntax for trigger. The same way, likewise, you are creating function, we will modify this by create trigger. Instead of function and procedure, we will write create trigger. We need to give a user defined name, then okay, trigger name. So this trigger name, and this is trigger time. At what time you want to call? Trigger time means at what time, before or after time. What is before and after here? In case of inserting a record, then this the trigger should be called after, because record is inserted, then only you can find the salary, then you can update the salary of department salary. But if I create a trigger for delete, then this should be called before, because once I delete this record, so this will go, I cannot get the salary back. So that's why first I'll update this, then I'll delete. So that's why the trigger should be fire before deleting the record. But while inserting or updating, the trigger should be fire after insertion and after updation. Why I cannot call a trigger after deleting a table? Here I want to modify this 1 lakh. Let I am deleting completely this number 3. Two salaries are present, one is 50,000, one is 80,000. If I completely delete this record, second record, then the salary will be, instead of 1,30,000, it will be 80,000. Okay, but what time the trigger will be fired to modify this? If I fire the trigger after deletion, how can I get this 50,000? If I don't get this 50,000, how can I replace this 1,30,000 to 80,000? So I need to subtract that 1,30,000 minus 50,000. Okay, not? So the 50,000 should be subtracted. So that's why once it is deleted, I cannot get it back. So that's why first to replace 1,30,000 by 80,000, then delete. So that is the time of firing the trigger. Okay, so recycle bin. Whenever you are deleting something, so before deleting, it is copying to recycle bin. I am deleting something. The trigger should not fire after deleting. Okay, so trigger should fire whenever deleting. First it is getting copy, it is keeping a copy to the recycle bin, then it is deleting. So this is called before firing. And after firing, you are adding something, okay, in this record, then you can call the trigger, or the trigger should automatically call after that operation. So this is called trigger time. Either it has two options, either before or after. And what is trigger event? Okay, whether it is insert, whether it is delete, or remember usually three times you can call, because we want to keep the data. Okay, data parts should be what is that? You can say backup. Okay, the operation is backup during these operations only. So that's why usually this insert, update, and delete operation requires a trigger. Okay, then for which table, definitely we'll need to specify table name. Then for each row, okay, because individual row we need to check. Why we will add each row? So remember, once we are the trigger, when the trigger will fire, it will check individual row. Okay, so for which let I have added 6th row. Okay, so 6th row I have added means now this will modify this one. So it means what? The trigger will fire on that 6th row only. It will not fire all rows. Okay, so that 6th row, and it will get the salary from that 6th row, then it will modify. Okay, similarly, while deleting these 2, then the trigger will be fired on this 2 second row, then it will keep this data first in a saving what is that, in a log. Okay, then it will modify. So that's why the trigger must be fired for individual row. Okay, then the action of the trigger. Okay, trigger action will write some query, begin and end. Okay, so now I am moving to write the query. I'll explain 3 triggers. I'm sharing the Word documents. So once this 3 will be over, the trigger part will be over. So I'm moving again. I'll write the query directly. Yeah? Now see here, this is a question. Create a trigger, the same thing. Create a trigger to update the total salary of department when a new employee is hired. It means new employee is added. So this is insertion operation. So once inserting your record, the trigger should be fired after. Okay. And remember, while creating a trigger, don't put delimiter dot, because dot will be utilized for other purposes. You can include delimiter, anything. Let here I have added dollar. Okay. So why will not put dot? Dot will be utilized in this case here in new dot. That's why dot has some other purposes. New dot, old dot. Now see here, once I add the record, there is a variable, or you can say this is an object. There are two objects. One is new object, one is old object. The new object will keep the current, will hold the reference to the newly inserted record. Okay. So now I'm inserting here. Now to the table, I'm inserting a new record that is called 6 Lucy, null, 90,000, date of birth, and department number is 1. Okay. So I'm adding this one. Okay. Now see here, in this case, previously some data are present. Okay. Now I am adding a new record. What is the record? Record is 6 and Lucy something null, and I am adding 90,000. So if I add 90,000 to department 1, so in the department table, in the department salary table, okay, in the department salary table, you can see in the department salary table, okay, okay, in the department salary table, you can see here, if I add 90,000 here, so this 1 and 1 lakh will change to 1 and 1 lakh 90,000, because previously the total salary under this department 1 is 1 lakh, only one employee which has a salary. The second employee was existing, but it has no salary. Now I am adding a new record. What is the record? 6 and some name Lucy and some super ID and all, but salary I am adding as 90,000. So once we add it, immediately the department salary will be changed. Okay. And the first record will give me 1 and 1 lakh 90,000. So 90,000 will be added with this 1 lakh salary. How? So for that, I'll create a trigger. So this trigger is created. You can see now the trigger is created. Okay. You can see how the trigger is created. What is the syntax for trigger? The syntax for trigger is here. Create trigger. The name is update salary. You can give any name. When? Definitely this is after inserting operation, because I'm inserting now a table. Okay, once you insert, so this create for every every user, those are using this employee table, for them this will work. So after insert on employee, so okay, each time you will record 100 record insert, each time this trigger will be fired, and for each row. This is the syntax. Then I have started beginning, then this is the end. This is for checking purposes. So this is all about here, only 3 to 4 lines of code. Okay, so in that begin and end, what I wrote, if new the department number. What is new? New is holding the new record you have inserted. What is the new record? The new record is this one. So if D number is null for this record, if D number is here, D number is not null. If D number is null, it means what? The salary what you are adding, that will not be modified. That will not be modified to the department salary, because department salary contains department number and the salary. So if I am passing this as null, then the department salary will not be modified. The department salary is containing department number. So if you change this to null, it will not. So that's why, remember, whenever you are inserting employee, you need to specify the department number. So if department number is not null, then only it will work. Okay. So what it will update? It will update the salary, department salary. So here the table department salary. And what is the total salary? The second column, the total salary will be what is existing salary plus the salary of the current record. That is kept by new. So what is the salary of the current record? 90,000. So 90,000 will be added to the previous salary. Okay. The previous salary was 1 lakh. So 1 lakh plus 90,000. Where D number is? Because I am passing 1. So again, this is a new records 1. So this is kept by new. So here new dot D number is 1. Here new dot salary is nothing but the current record salary, 90,000. Here new dot D number is nothing but this one. Okay. So if D number, new dot D number is not null, then only you update the department table, change the salary to the existing salary plus new salary. New salary is 90,000. Okay. So this is the trigger. Now I'm creating. Now here I'm writing in MySQL. Okay. Now see, I'll write. Okay. Now here I'm creating a delimiter. I'm changing delimiter. Don't change the delimiter to change the delimiter, but don't keep it the dot or semicolon. I'm keeping the same dollar delimiter dollar. Then I'm creating the trigger. Create trigger. Give a name. Let it is fire. Okay, fire. This will automatically fire. Fire 1. Fire on insert. Fire on insert. Okay, because after insertion it will fire. Fire on insert. Once you insert, it will automatically fire. Okay, and what is when? What is the time? Before or after? It will be after insert operation. Okay, after insert operation. Then what will write after insert operation? On which table? Okay, on which table? Create trigger after insert. Okay, on which table? On employee table. Okay, so this is important, on employee table and for individual row, for each row. So this is the definition of a trigger. So once you write this thing, it means what? I created a trigger. I will not call this trigger. This trigger will be automatically fired when once you insert a record to this employee. Okay, so that's why one record means that's why a single row. Then I'm including begin. Okay, so begin. Then I'll check what is the current record now. That is kept by new. Okay, that is referred by new. New is new and old are two variables. New is keeping the current record which is inserting. Old will keep the existing record. Okay, so new dot. If it is new dot d number. Okay, so what is d number? Department number. Okay, so the employee has a department number. You can say it is d number. Okay, so if new dot d number, if new dot d number is not null, then only it will fire. Okay, if new dot d number is not null, okay, then this trigger will fire. Then this trigger will fire. There is no bracket in if. Okay, if new dot d number is not null, then this will fire. And okay, and what it will modify? What it will modify? It will modify the salary. Okay, total salary. So that's why you write update. Okay, update which table? Table name is dpt salary. Okay, set which column? Total salary. Total salary. So total salary will be, I'll check whether it is total salary. Where is that? Okay, I have not described that table. I'll see later. Okay, maybe okay, if it is showing error, then it will face problem. Maybe it is total salary. Okay, total salary. Okay, equal to what is the existing total salary? Okay, then this will be modified with new dot the current salary. Okay, and provided the condition is where new dot d number equal to which one? Where which id? This id must be equal to, let this is not null means some value, where this new dot d number, okay, sorry, it's not new. In the department salary there is what? dpt number. Okay, it's not d number, it is department number, d number maybe. Okay, so this is the attribute in department salary table. Okay, so it is d number equal to what it will match this one. Okay, so new dot d number. Okay, so this is, I'm ending. So I'm ending. Okay, then semicolon, then I'm closing. Create. Okay, trigger name, what I gave the name as fire on insert. Okay, fire on insert. Okay, and this is what after insert, which operation? It must be after insert operation. On which table? Employee table, for each row. Okay, so anything left? No. One is trigger time, one is table name, trigger time. This is trigger event, table name for each row. Then you start for each row, begin. Okay, if the current record new dot d number is not null, then only you change. Is not null. Okay, then is not null, then modify, update. Okay, the table name dpt salary. Okay, set, you can see the variable name is total salary, the attribute name total salary equal to the existing salary, total salary, plus, wait, you listen, any doubt I'll give time. Total salary plus new dot the current salary, where as per the department number, d number, D number is present in this table. You can see here. This is the D name, say first attribute. D number equal to new dot D number. Okay. So once you write this, you end if. Okay. Then you end the procedure. Okay. End the procedure. Okay. Now see here, trigger is created. So this trigger, we no need to call this trigger. Now I'll insert a record to employee. Okay, then automatically this trigger will be fired by default. Okay, so now here, before to that, to check whether this is firing or not, so I'm creating, I'm showing you the previous data. Here, select star from department salary, select star from DPT salary. What are present? These three are, okay, these three records are present. Delimiter, semicolon. Okay, so these three rows are present. Now I'll insert one record to employee, and this will be modified. Let here I'm inserting, insert into employee values. Okay, so the let I'm inserting to one employee number, let 6. Okay, then name is something, let is called DDD. Okay, this is the name. Then something called the third attribute is null. The fourth attribute is salary. Let 50,000. Okay, 50,000. Then date of birth, something I am adding here, 1999, 98 something, or 90, yes, 98, anything, 01 January 01. Okay, 02. Let then anything, yes, department number is important. Let I am, so here for this department 2 I am adding. So if I add this record to the 2 department, automatically this 50,000 will be added to this 50,000 and it will become 1 lakh. You can see here. For second department I'm adding. You can see here. Okay, now I'm fetching this. I'm not calling this trigger. I'm not calling this automatically. Once you record, it's already fired. Now I'm fetching this department salary. Select star from PPT salary. Now what you will see? You will see for 1 it will be 1 lakh. For 2 also will be 1 lakh because I have added 50,000 again. You can see here. Now see what we are seeing. Previously it was showing before trigger 1,50,000, 1,30,000. I have not called the trigger. Implicitly that trigger is called fire on insert. Then it modify the second department salary to 1 lakh instead of 50,000. Okay, so this is insertion trigger. Okay, another 2 trigger for delete and update. There is written the experiment. Okay, I can show you because I need to close all. Another 10 minutes. Okay, I'll show you. I'll not write. Similarly, here update salary. What is update? Create. You can create second trigger delimiter when it will be when you update after update operation. Okay, so that's why what will write instead of after insert you will write after update. On which employee? Same. On which table? Employee table for each row. Then what it is doing? You are updating. What you are updating? Let previous salary it was 50,000. You are updating to 55,000. What you will do? Same thing. Update department salary. Set total salary equal to total salary minus old salary. Why? Because previously let it was 50,000. Now you are updating to 20,000. What it will do? First it will what is that? Subtract the original salary to the old salary. What is while updating? Okay, what is the total salary present? That will subtract the previous. Okay, the old value. Okay, so let old value is x. Total is t. So t minus x plus new value let y. In this way it will modify. Okay, so that's why 2 times you will write for update operation. Okay, so first is update. First you subtract the old salary. What is old? Old means let I am changing 50 to 55,000. Okay, so the 50,000 will be old and 55,000 will be new. So total salary will subtract the 50,000 first. Then the total salary will add 55,000. So 0 becomes 0 plus 55,000. So that's why 2 times you will write this code. Okay, for update. One will be subtract, one will be add. For deletion operation, you can see here, deletion must be before. So before delete, I am deleting a particular row. First row I am completely deleting. Then you need to keep that salary, that row, those are deleting, that salary in old. Okay, so that's a old or d number. What you are deleting, that will become old. Okay, you keep this under old variable, and the total salary you subtract the old salary from it. Okay, then automatically it will be deleted. Okay, so in this way you can see here. Let I am copying this trigger 3 update salary. Let I am giving the name as, okay, let I am giving the name as fire trigger 3. Okay, let I am giving the name as fire trigger 3. Okay, so this is fire trigger 3. I'm copying this, see. Okay, I'll delete one record, I'll show you. Okay, I'm copying this. These 3 are the operation under experiment 12. Okay, now here I have copied, I pasted. One trigger is created. What is the trigger name? Fire trigger 3, and this will be deletion. Now I am deleting any of the row. Okay, so I'm again selecting, select star from employee, select star from employee. So how many records are present? You can delete only from employee, not from department salary. Okay, so here any one of the record I am deleting. Tell, let I am deleting these 3. Bob. If I delete this, then total salary previously existing, you can see in the department, select star from recycle bin, department salary, DPT salary. Okay, now here previously for this row, for this department number 3, the total salary is 50 plus 80,000, 1,30,000 was present. Now I am deleting this third row. Okay, so if I reduce this 50,000, so this will become 1,30,000 minus 80,000, it will become only 50,000. Okay, if I delete this row, you can only remember subtract 80,000 or 50. You cannot subtract 70, 60,000. As per the row data, you can delete. Okay, now I am deleting this third row. So how can I delete? Here, delete from employee. From employee, I am deleting where D number. So this is the old one. Whenever I am specifying D number, so this is becoming old one. Where D number equal to 3 let. If I write this, so this will become D number, and the old salary will be 80,000. Okay, old salary will be 80,000. So this old salary will be subtracted from this 1,30,000. Okay, now here it is deleted. Now I am selecting total salary automatically. I am not calling any trigger. So it is becoming wide. Okay, department 3, 2 are deleted. Sorry, these 2 are deleted because I specified D number 3. So because 2 are deleted, so that's why now it is becoming 80,000, 50,000, all are deleted. Okay, you could have specified where name is Bob. Then at that time you will get. Okay, so as per the department, let I am again. Okay, I have not. I am adding. Let I am adding a record. Okay, let I am. Okay, now here I am deleting now 1. Let I am deleting. Under 1 it is 1 lakh, under 2 it is 1 lakh. Let I am deleting this one, not as per the D number, as per the name DDDD. So what I'll write here, delete from employee where E number. Okay, where E number, EID, where ID equal to or 6, ID equal to 6. Okay, so if I delete this one, ID equal to 6, then this 50,000 will be the old salary for which department? Is 2 department, second department. So now the second department 1 lakh will reduce by 1 lakh minus 50,000 will be 50,000. So I am deleting now. Again I will fetch select star from now here. So previously it is 1 lakh now. So automatically without calling the trigger, it is executing. Okay, so this is about insert and delete. Update you practice. Update 2 times. You need to first change, subtract what the previous value, then add the new.